Good day, welcome back to Reconstruct of official YouTube channel. Today we'll be diving into something every contractor, quantity surveyor, project manager, builder in the construction industry need to master, which is the building up of rates for construction projects. Now let's start with the basics. What exactly is building up of rate? Let's simply put it as the process of calculating the cost of various items of work in a construction project. This include the material, labor, equipment, and overhead. Now, for each unit of work, we need to measure the rate for each unit of work and ensure that these rates cover all costs while also aligning for profit. Now, what do I mean by that? We want to measure for block work. Block work is a work item in construction. Now, when measuring for block work, you have to take into consideration the material, which is block, the labor, the bricklayers that will lay it, the equipment, if you'll be needing any equipment, and the overhead and profit, which is the profit the organization will be making. Same thing with concrete work. So you calculate the material. Now, the material in concrete work is your sand, your granite, which is your quartz and fine aggregate, your cement, and you also be needing your labor. You also need your equipment, which is the mixing machine, and you also put your. To build up a rate, we will break down the cost into four key components, which is our material, labor, plant and equipment, overhead and profit. Now our material, this will include the raw materials like your cement, your bricks, your steel, your iron rod and the likes. For the labor, the cost of labor, which will vary depending on the complexity of the work item to be carried out. Our plant and equipment also, which is the cost associated with machinery, tools, and equipment to be used. And also our overhead and profit, which include the administrative cost, transport, insurance, and profit margin. The material, the unit varies. For your cement, it is in per bag. Your iron rod, some come in tonnage. The standard for QS is ton, but some also come in. You can use it as length. Now let's walk through an example to make all my explanation clear. So the example will be on block work. Now block work is measured in square meter, and like I explained earlier, for building up rate for any item of work, we will need our material cost, our labor cost, our equipment cost, our overhead and profit cost. Now, our material cost that we'll be needing for block work will be our what? It will be our mortar, and we'll also be needing what? Blocks. The mortar is to lay the block. Now, what is our mortar made up of? Our mortar is made up of what? Cement and sand. Yes, and for the course of this video, the mix ratio for our mortar will be what? 1:5. That means 1 ratio of cement to 5 ratio of sand. Yes, and also for the course of this video, the cost of labor will be 2,500. The cost of artisan, non-trade tested or semi-skilled or unskilled is 4,000, and the labor cost for artisan trade tested is what? 5,000. So what I just finished giving is the what? Labor cost of workers per day, and that is 8 hours, which makes a day. Now, equipment cost for our block work here will not be needing any equipment, so there will not be need to add that. And for our overhead and profit, we'll be using a constant of what? 25%, which is our profit and overhead 25%. Now let's start. Now our mortar is made up of cement and sand. That means we need to provide cement and we need to provide sand on site. Now for our cement, after my market survey, I found out that, however, we should just know that prices in this video are just based on assumptions and not recent market survey. So when you want to build up your own rate, do well to conduct your own market survey and know the prices, that's the material cost, the labor cost, and the overheads and profit that will work for you or that is in the market currently. So for our cement, 1 ton to be delivered to site will cost us 5,000 naira per bag. That is, if they are bringing 1 bag of cement, it costs 5,000 naira. And 1 ton is about 20 bags of cement. That's the 50 kg. So now 5,000 times 20 will give us what? 100,000. How did I get that 20 bag is 1 ton? Because one bag of cement is 50 kg, 1 ton is 1,000 kg. That is, there are 20 bags in a ton. So cement of 1 ton to be delivered to site will be 100,000, assuming that the prices is what? 5,000 naira per bag. Now, let's say after they transport it to site, because that money include cost of transportation. Now, to unload and stack it, to put it in your store, will be how much now? They can offload 20 bags in 1 hour. Remember, it's laborers that will do this kind of job. 20 bags in 1 hour. So, to calculate the cost of labor for the whole 1 ton, remember which is 20 bags, it will be what? Cost of a labor for 1 hour. We know per day is what? 25. Abi? And he can carry the whole 20 in 1 hour. There is no need to pay him the whole 25. So we'll do 25 divided by 8 hours in a day, which will give us what? 312 naira 50 kobo. Now we'll add it to this 100,000 up, which will give us this figure per ton. That's per 20 bag. Now that's that for the cement. Now for sand, we know for sand, we know one cubic meter is equal to 1.52 tons, and we know 1 ton will give us the price of 1 ton is 3,000. So to get the price for 5 cubic meter, now why did I use 5? Because our mix ratio is 1:5. So 1 will be for cement, 5 will be for sand. It will be 5 times the 1.52 tons times the 3,000 naira per ton. Now it's more like we are converting the cubic meter to ton first. So if 1 cubic meter equals to 1.52 ton, 5 cubic meter will be how many? 5 times 1.52 tons. So you get your answer. Then multiply it by 3,000. Since 1 ton is 3,000, you get 22,800 naira. Now for our cement, we already know it's 100,312.50 naira per ton. And we know 1 cubic meter of cement is equal to 1.44 ton. So it will be 1, since it's 1 cubic meter from our ratio that we need, 1 times 1.44 ton times the amount from here, which will give us 144,415. When we add these two together, we'll get this 167,215. Now there's something we need not to forget: shrinkage and waste. Now when you mix your mortar, which is your cement and sand together, you notice that the quantity will shrink, and however it is noted you must make allowance for waste. So shrinkage and waste I gave 45%. 45% is a reasonable percentage for shrinkage and waste in for mortar mix. Note that this waste also vary depending on the scope of the work. Now add 45% of this. 45% of this will give us 75,262.50 naira. When you add these two together, you get 242,512.50 kobo. Now, this is the total for what? 6. Why? 1 cubic meter for cement, which is this, 5 cubic meter for sand, which is this. Add it together. That was how we got it. So now to get per cubic meter, remember this is in 6 cubic meter. We'll have to divide it by what? 6. So this total here divided by 6 will give us what? 40,475 per meter cube. So this is the cost per meter cube for mortar. Now, remember our block work is in what? Cube is in square meter. So now how many quantity of mortar are we going to need for 1 square meter of block? Now we'll need 0.0337 cubic meter to lay 1 square meter of block. That is, to lay 10 blocks, we need this quantity of mortar. And remember, block is in what? Square meter. So our rate will be in per square meter. So we have to convert this to 1 square meter. So now 1 square meter, we need this. But per cubic meter, this is the price. So how are we going to get the price for 1 square meter? This times this. That is, 1 square meter equals to this, and one cube, this equals to the amount we are looking for, and 1 cubic meter equals to this. So we multiply 0.0337 times 40,000 plus, we'll get this. So this is the cost of what? Mortar. Now, cost of block. For 1 square meter, we know we have 10 blocks. Now, what is the price of 10 blocks? At 450 per block. 450 times 10 will give us what? 45. But however, we need to add our what? Waste. So let's say the waste for block is 5%, since it doesn't easily break. So for that scope of work, 5% is enough. So 5% of 10 is 0.5. Add it. So 10.5 per square meter after adding waste. Now at 450 per block, multiply this together, you have 4,725 naira per square meter. Good. So this and this is the total for what? Material. Now labour. Our labour, we already know that labour output for mixing and laying block is 100 naira per block. And we have 10 block in 1 square meter. Remember, this is in square meter, so we have to be working in per square meter. 10 blocks is in 1 square meter, so we have to multiply 100 naira times 10, which is what? 1,000 naira per square meter. Now remember, this 100 naira is for mixing and laying. That means they will mix the mortar and they will also lay the block. So 1,000 naira. So this is now our cost for what? Labour. So add your cost of labour with these two, your mortar and block, you get 7,087.11 naira. Now we don't need any machine. The next is our what? Profit and overhead, which is assumed to be what? 25%. So 25% of this will give us this. Add it together and you have your 8,858.89 kobo. So after that example, let's talk about the common mistakes we should avoid while bidding up for rate. We should not underestimate labor productivity. Don't say that one laborer is meant to be able to do this, when we both know it's two laborers that will be able to do it. Also, we should not forget to account for wastage in materials. It is necessary. Things like wastage, shrinkage for concrete or materials that shrink, bulkage for soil, and factors like that. We should also not forget to include overhead. Neither should we allocate too little profit, because that will affect the organization you are building up rate for. And also, using outdated price data. We should also ensure to use the latest price data. So those are the common mistakes we should avoid. Now, pro tips for accurate building up of rate. We should always double check material quantity and the rate. We should use updated market data for prices. And if you have built up rates before, benchmark it with your previous rate. Now in Nigeria, where prices go up, if you compare it with your former rate and you see the the prices is lower than the former rate, you should go through your build up again. And thank you for staying to the end of the video. And now that you know the basics of building up rate for construction projects, if you have found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more construction tips and tutorial. Let me know in the comment section if you have any question or if you want to see more examples in the future. And for the document I use, you can hit up, you can comment I need it in the comment section and I'll make it available to you. Please do well to like, share, subscribe. Thank you.